Okay, and we're back.
Welcome to an inside look in my box. So, someone mentioned on YouTube the other day that I was teasing them on the manual conversion. So this is the GT manual conversion. So, this is the biggest bit we've had to do. I had a spare rear case in stock. So, if I do that, we obviously give it a good clean before it goes in. But that is a manual rear case, and if I show you the difference between the one we took out, can you see the holes for the detents?
Yeah.
So whereas on the R-tronic the detent is done on the selector fork, in the manual it's done in the selector itself that we bolt on the top. So on others we've used just the casings and made blanking plugs. But on this one, I had a spare case, so we make it a real nice job. We use a spare case, so that'll be fine. We've got a really nice back end cover to put on it, so that's not factory. So we'll use that. We've modified that's a journal bush that's used originally, and we changed to these. For the manuals, you have to change to these slider bearings. So if I get this one back out, you can see there, journal bush and a bearing. So normally on the other one, I've machined those out and pressed those in, but I kind of want to put a proper case on it. So we'll use that, that's fine. So we've machined this case, or my friend has machined this case, and we've got to press them shaft bearings in, so that's all right. We've got new, I mean you can see the state of everything, it's hanging. New carrier plate bearings to go in, new pinion bearings, bottom and top. So I've cleaned the pinion, but I don't know whether you can see. Can you see the pickups on the bearings?
Yep.
So we'll put new pinion bearings in, top and bottom, so that's fine. These gears and synchros have all been through, so everything here is clean. This is dirty, I've got to put that through. The shafts get an awful amount of build up inside because the back cover, the oil pump, pumps the oil in through this hole and then down the shaft squirters, and then what happens is the shafts are full of oil and then that's then released onto the gear bearings. But of course then when the oil's contaminated, that contamination is carried down inside the shaft, so the shafts normally are caked in sludge on the inside, like the inside, like that. Now the problem is you can change the oil and change the oil and change the oil all you want, you're not getting that out. And it's the same with the shafts. So there comes a point where you need to strip them and clean them. So we've done the front case, we've cleaned the input shaft, we've got new input shaft bearings. This is the oil pump drive, gear and reverse gear. I'll tell you what mate, let me move that out of the way. Just like that. So reverse gear, reverse bearing carrier, reverse gear, reverse idler, then synchros, detents, oil pump drives, selector fork. So we change all these for manual ones. These are the PTU gears, that's the pinion gear, and then obviously we'll change bearings and bits and pieces. So yeah, we've got everything stripped out and cleaned. The gears are fine, just stinking condition. I mean, you can see, well, let's do it. So you can see that sludge there?
Yep. Ew.
Yes. Yeah. I'll wipe that on your jumper. No. So, as you can see in stripped down corner, we're pretty busy. So, yeah, it's casings machined. I've got a rear cover, all the bearings are here. Literally just cleaning everything now. These have had one wash, but even then we're putting through the wash tank. And like, is it that one? Where did I find it a minute ago? It's like, just gets everywhere. So we give that a good clean. Again, probably just put them through a sonic cleaner to be fair, because the wash tank's just not hitting it off. Clean the other shaft. My MoTeC wash tank, which is the organic fluid, it's got a pump on it. So the good thing about that is I sit them in the MoTeC tank, and then I put the nozzle in the end and I just pump fluid through it all day. So the one shaft, the long shaft, the shaft that carries these bearings, so there's 4 gear bearings, has got the longest internal gallery, so that normally carries the most sludge. So that's been in there all day, just constantly running fluid through. So, and then I'll put a camera down the inside, check it. So that'll be all right. So I've got to press these in, put new bearings in that, assemble the shafts, press the carrier plate onto the shafts, and then drop it down onto the gearbox then. And then put it all back together. So, yeah.
This is going into the R8 GT.
Blue GT. Yep, that's it.
Supercharged. Yep.
So engine's just having a little bit of love as well. So we'll get that refreshed, gearbox refreshed. We've got some supercharger idler pulleys coming, new injectors. Yeah, just a bit of love really. It's had not a hard life, it's had a good life, but it's just used hard.
Sure.
So it's well looked after and loved, but it's just, all it does is track work, so it's battered. And to be fair, stripping the box, you can kind of see that in the condition of the fluid. We've changed the fluid regularly, but even then, it was probably in a pretty poor state to start with, and it's just carried that on. So there's no wear on the gears, it's just muck and sludge from like bearings and stuff like that. So a lot of the contamination comes from a clutch, because it's obviously got fiber plates inside the clutch for the LSD. That's where a lot of this sludgy contamination comes from.
Yeah.
Being a track car, that's accelerated because you're getting more slip across the axle than you would in, say, a road car. So yeah, it's all good. We'll get pretty much everything else finished, buttoned up, put back together, and yeah, should be good. Got new selector to go on the top, new selector arms, then it'll have new clutch, new release bearing. All the gears look good, so we haven't had to change any gears. We've just literally done a refresh with the bearings, clean everything, modify cases, new selectors, manual conversion done. Easy as that, David. Easy as that.
Simple.
Yeah.
That.
Like that. We should do that.
And then when we've when it's all back together, be nice to do a video.
Yeah. So what we'll probably do then is put a gearbox in. I've got all the selector mechanism to go inside the car, the clutch pedal, that sort of thing. But what I really want to do, and I'm going to have to strip the selector mechanism to do it, is I don't know whether you've seen on the GT, it's not a normal gear stick. It looks like a Y-spoke design with a GT knob. So what I want to do is I want to make that fit the manual selector. So it looks like a GT gear knob, but it's a manual gear shift. So
sure.
That's what we're going to try and do, but I'm going to have to do a little bit more work. The engineering company, Ludlow Engineering in Swindon, who did this for me, because they do all my machining, for stuff like this, I'll have a chat with him and see if we can get it. So that'll look really cool. So when you look in, it'll be manual selector, but GT gear knob. That's my vision. I just got to make it work.
Cool.
So yes, all good. Just
nice
a box of gears to put back together. But easy peasy, mate. Easy peasy.
Till the next time, bud.
See you later.